You're on a beach. Not the vacation kind. The kind where your plane went down 3 days ago and you haven't eaten since yesterday morning. Your lips are cracked, your clothes are torn, and in your pocket, you feel something. You pull it out. $100 bill. Crisp, green, Benjamin Franklin staring up at you with that knowing smirk. You look at the ocean. You look at the jungle behind you. You look back at the bill, and it hits you. This thing is completely, utterly, absolutely worthless. You can't eat it, you can't drink it, you can't start a fire with it because it's actually designed not to burn easily. A coconut has more survival value than everything in your wallet combined. That's the moment you realize what money actually is. It's not wealth, it's not power, it's not security. It's a story. A story that only works when everyone agrees to believe it at the same time. Think about what you did this morning. Maybe you bought a coffee. You handed someone a piece of paper, or worse, you tapped a piece of plastic that moved some numbers around on a screen somewhere. And in exchange, a stranger handed you a hot drink and said, "Have a nice day." You both walked away satisfied. But why? Why did that work? That paper didn't do anything. Those numbers didn't physically transform into coffee beans. What actually happened is that you and that barista and the store owner and the coffee supplier and the farmer in Colombia all agreed, silently, unconsciously, to participate in the same collective hallucination. And it is a hallucination. We just don't call it that because it sounds crazy. We call it the economy instead. But here's where it gets strange. For most of human history, money was at least attached to something physical. Gold, usually. The paper in your wallet used to be a promise. It said right there on the bill that you could walk into a bank and trade it for actual gold. The paper was just a receipt. The real value was sitting in a vault somewhere, shiny and heavy and real. Then, on August 15th, 1971, President Nixon went on television and quietly ended that arrangement. No more gold standard. From that moment on, your dollar wasn't backed by metal in a vault. It wasn't backed by anything at all, except belief. That was 53 years ago, and the world didn't collapse. Nobody rioted in the streets. Most people didn't even notice. They just kept using the money like nothing had changed, because to them, nothing had. The spell was already too strong to break. And it gets weirder. Right now, most of the money in the world doesn't even exist as paper. It's just numbers, ones and zeros, stored on servers in buildings you'll never see. When you check your bank account, you're not looking at cash sitting in a drawer with your name on it. You're looking at a record, a promise that if you asked for paper, they'd probably give it to you. Probably, as long as everyone else doesn't ask at the same time. The entire global financial system runs on this. Trillions of dollars moving around the planet every single day, buying companies, funding wars, building cities, and almost none of it is physical. It's just belief, moving at the speed of light. Here's the part nobody talks about. This isn't a flaw in the system. This is the system. Money was never supposed to be valuable on its own. It was always just a technology for transferring trust between strangers. A farmer in ancient Mesopotamia couldn't personally trust a merchant from a city he'd never visited, but they could both trust the silver coins that everyone agreed had value. Money didn't replace trust, it scaled it. And that scaling is what built civilization. Think about it. You can walk into a store in Tokyo or Buenos Aires or Lagos, hand over the local currency, and walk out with goods. You don't speak the language. You don't know the person. You'll never see them again. But the transaction works because you're both plugged into the same story, the same hallucination. But here's where it gets uncomfortable. You spend your life chasing this. You wake up to an alarm you hate, commute to a job that drains you, Trade the irreplaceable hours of your existence for numbers on a screen. And you do this for 40 years, 50 years, sometimes until the day you die. You're not doing it for the paper. The paper is worthless. You're not even doing it for what the paper can buy. You're doing it because you believe other people will keep believing. Your entire life is built on the assumption that tomorrow, 8 billion people will wake up and still agree that these numbers mean something. And they probably will. The spell is strong. It's been strong for thousands of years, but it's not guaranteed. Currencies have collapsed before. They've collapsed a lot, actually. The German mark after World War I, the Zimbabwean dollar in 2008, the Venezuelan bolivar right now. When belief breaks, it breaks fast. Money doesn't slowly become worthless. It becomes worthless overnight, as soon as enough people stop pretending at the same time. Here's the deepest part. You might think gold is different. Gold is real. Gold is shiny. Gold has been valuable for 10,000 years. But why? You can't eat gold either. You can't build shelter with it. It's too soft for tools. The only reason gold is valuable is because humans decided it was valuable a very long time ago. We've just been telling the same story for so long that we forgot it was a story at all. There is no bottom. There is no asset on earth that has intrinsic value to a human being beyond food, water, shelter, and connection. Everything else, every single thing you think of as valuable is only valuable because enough people believe it is. Your house, your car, your retirement account, that stock portfolio, that cryptocurrency you bought at 2 a.m. It's all downstream of collective belief. Every bit of it. And here's the existential gut punch. This isn't just true about money. This is true about everything that makes you human. Countries aren't real. They're imaginary lines on a map backed by enough people with enough guns agreeing to pretend. Laws aren't real. They're just rules we wrote down and decided to enforce together. Corporations aren't real. Apple doesn't exist. Google doesn't exist. They're legal fictions, stories we tell so that groups of humans can coordinate at massive scale. Every other animal on Earth lives in objective reality. A chimpanzee believes in things it can see, smell, hear, touch, taste. That's it. That's the whole world. But humans? We live in two worlds at once. The physical world of rocks and trees and bodies, and this other world, this invisible world made entirely of shared stories. Gods, nations, laws, human rights, money. All of it exists only because we agree it does. And because we agree, it becomes real. Real enough to die for. Real enough to kill for. Real enough to trade the only life you'll ever have for a number on a screen. You're not crazy for chasing money. You're human. This is what humans do. We build realities out of belief, and then we live inside them as if they were solid. It's our superpower. It's also our cage. Now think about that beach again. You're standing there, salt on your lips, Benjamin Franklin in your hand, and you realize that back home, this paper can buy you a meal, a bed, an hour of someone's labor. It can buy you a flight off this island. It can buy you your life back. But only because somewhere out there, billions of people are still dreaming the same dream, still waking up every morning and choosing to believe, still trading their hours for numbers, their numbers for goods, their lives for a story that exists only because they refuse to stop telling it. That bill in your hand isn't paper, it's a prayer. 8 billion people praying together every single day, and somehow, impossibly, it works. Oh, you know what's strange? You'll probably forget this by tomorrow. You'll check your bank account, feel good or bad about the number you see, and not once think about the fact that you're looking at a mass hallucination that happens to be load-bearing for civilization. That's how deep the spell goes. It works best when you don't think about it. When you just believe. Maybe that's fine. Maybe that's the only way any of this works. Or maybe there's value in remembering, just once in a while, that the most powerful force shaping your life isn't gravity or genetics or government. It's agreement. 8 billion people choosing to believe the same story one more day. If this is the kind of thing your brain does at 2 a.m., you're in the right place. Subscribe. There's more where this came from.